Welcome back. It's A to Z here on Locked On Sports Atlanta, free on YouTube and wherever you get your podcast. Make sure you search Locked On Sports Atlanta. Wrapping things up here on this Tuesday for you. You know, the NFL schedule is going to be released later on this week. I think it's on Thursday. And you're already starting to see some of the leaks come out. And I guarantee you over the next 24, 48 hours before they release the thing, you'll get leak after leak after leak after leak. The latest leak right now is that week two of the NFL season is going to have a Monday night doubleheader with the first game featuring the Eagles and Vikings in Philadelphia, and the second game, a rematch of one of the most exciting games from last year between the Bills and the Titans. This game will be in Buffalo. And remember, the game last year came down to inches. I think the Titans went for it on what was it, fourth and down, fourth and goal, or was it a 2 point conversion? I forget. It was like a 1 point game. And anyway, it was a really exciting game. I do remember it. But regardless, you're going to start to see these leaks start to come out. Of course, we know all the international games already. It's just a question of when and where it goes. We absolutely know everybody's opponents and how they're going to do. We've heard about distances and traveling and everything else. I'll do the same thing I do every single year when the schedule is released. And I refuse, and I absolutely refuse to predict wins and losses in May for a season that starts in September, where I don't know who's going to be on the roster, who is starting, who's healthy, who's not. It's just the stupidest thing we do in sports radio. And any sports radio show that predicts wins and losses at this point in time, it's a waste of your time. Don't do it. Okay? Don't do it. I'm not going to do it. But I tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to the schedule and the toughness of several different factors. One, the level of the quarterbacks that you're going against. Who are the other starting quarterbacks that you're facing this year? Now, I can do that right now with the Falcons schedule, but some of that is based off of how much of a stretch you face them in back to back games. Do you see them early? Do you see them late? Are there chances for injury? Is that team in the middle of 2 or 3 straight road games? Or is that team in the middle of just returning home after a bye? All those things matter about when you face the best quarterbacks in the league. Look at the defenses that you're facing. Who are they and where are they? Are you facing them at home or on the road? Are you more likely to see a defense that is very good against the run or good against the pass? Like those are things that you can grade when you look at a given team and the situations. What are your road game situations like? How many back-to-back road games do you have? Do you have a stretch of 3 in a row on the road? Do you have to go international and then play the next week? I mean, all these things. Is your opponent going international and playing the next week? All these things factor into your team's ability to win or lose any given game throughout the schedule. That's the way you break apart the schedule and dissect it and look at 4 game stretches that you can try to win a 4 game period, because that's what coaches do, right? They try to tell you, hey, we can go 3-1 in four games. Well, that's five. One of them's 5 games because we play 17, but you get the point. If you break it up into quarters, you go 3-1 in each quarter. Guess what? You're a playoff team. That's essentially it. So, look at when you play your division opponents. Do you see most of your division early? Do you see them late? The NFL has now gotten into this habit of getting like 3 or 4 or 6 division games in the last 8 weeks of the season. I'd rather play my division opponents early when I'm healthier, not later when I have more guys banged up and the possibility of missing more guys. But the difference is when you play them early, a lot of it gets out of your control because you don't see them late. So if you need a win, a division win or a conference win, and you don't play those guys late, you're hoping somebody else beats them for you. All those things are going to factor into how and when a team is able to get wins. Predicting wins now at this point is stupid. It's a waste of time. And I can't stand radio shows that do it. And I've told them all that. It's just dumb. There's absolutely no way you can, with any certainty, look at a schedule and go, well, that game's going to be a win. Because inevitably, there's a team that was good right now that we think is going to be good, that when you play them in the season is bad. A team that you expected to be bad during the regular season is going to be pretty good, and it's not going to be the easy win. It happens every single year. So, not going to do it, but we are going to look at the Falcons schedule later this week and try to figure out, where the pitfalls are and what stretches they may have a chance to win a couple of games, depending on who they play. And still, we know that there are going to be more pieces added to this roster, especially with the June 1st date looming and teams getting some more cap relief or teams being able to move more players or teams cutting players after June 1st. There's still free agents out there that the Falcons could get that could dynamically change things. So what are you going to try to predict a win for in May? It's just ridiculous. Oh, by the way, there are free agents that the Falcons can still go after. And I still think there are a lot of viable names out there for this team when you look at what is still on the board. And so I think Terry Fontenot will start to add a couple more pieces, legitimate pieces for this team, and see if he can't get a roster that's a little bit more competitive than people expect. Give out 1 year deals at this point, right? Because that's all you really can afford. Well, I shouldn't say it. The Falcons may be able to afford multi-year deals given what they have in cap room next year and the following year. So they may be one of the few teams that can offer somebody who needs a multi-year deal, wants a multi-year deal. They may be able to be one of the teams who does it as long as it's cheap in the first year and they get more money on the back end. That's one of the more advantageous positions the Falcons may be in, as opposed to other teams who may only have room for a 1 year deal. So, still a lot of maneuvering to be done. A lot of maneuvering to be done. And when the schedule comes out, absolutely we'll dissect it here in A to Z. We're not going to sit here and try to predict wins. That's just a fool's exercise, guys. Make sure you guys give me a follow on Twitter at Mark Zinno, MarkZinno. Follow us all at Locked On ATL and keep up with everything we have going on. Big game for the Braves tonight against the Boston Red Sox. Need to sweep this. They really, really, really need to sweep this series. I cannot have this team lose to the Red Sox at this point in time. The Red Sox have lost 5. Just got home. This is a team that's not scoring runs right in this series in the first game of it. Then you get Ian Anderson. This should be a no-brainer for them. Kyle Wright's been their best pitcher. He's got to do that here and then get this team back to 500 after this series is over. Then you start to really feel like take 2 out of 3 from the Padres, as I've said earlier in the week and said late last week. That's when you can start to turn this thing around. That's really where you can start to feel good about where they're going. Because after that, the schedule lightens up a little bit, but they got to go out on the road. So it's going to be a little bit tougher. But I would expect if they can finish this homestand 1 game above 500, you feel really good about where this team is. But you got to sweep the Red Sox. You can't afford to give a game away to them and have a bad game, especially with your best pitcher starting in the first game of the series. So we'll keep our eyes on that for the Atlanta Braves as they start this 2-game series before they see the Padres coming up this weekend. That'll do it for me today here on A to Z. Appreciate you guys spending some time with me, and thanks for making A to Z your first listen. Make your next listen Hitting Hard with John Chuckery, the Atlanta Sports Talker. All the best opinions on every sports, Braves, Hawks, Falcons, Dogs, whatever it may be. It's all coming from Hitting Hard on John Chuckery right here on Locked On Sports Atlanta, free on YouTube and wherever you get your podcast. Make sure you search Locked On Sports Atlanta. That'll do it for me here on this Tuesday. You guys have a great day. Don't take any crap from anybody. See ya.